and welcome to our new YouTube channel. I'm today here with Benni Mack, technical lead of the Tapestry core. So, welcome, Benni.
Hey, thanks for being here.
How are you?
Just fine.
I heard you're sitting here along the whole week in Düsseldorf, and you're doing planning for the next Tapestry versions.
Yeah, we're thinking a lot of how to improve the release process in general, and to make it easier to update to the next version, and what can we do about that.
Cool. So, version 8 is probably the best version the Kott released so far. So, can you guide us a bit through what was good, because the release cycle also changed? Can you maybe give us a bit more insight, why it was changed, what was good, and what was what we could probably make better in the future?
Well, first of all, we didn't really change the release cycle in version 8. We did that in version 7, so we have these sprint releases, 8.0, 8.1, or minor versions, until we come to a point after 1.5 years that we have a long-term support version, which is supported for 3 years by the Typo 3 core team. And we did that with version 7 and then with version 8. And with version 8, we went to version 8.7. That means we had 8 sprint releases, or 8 releases in total. And of course, what we want to achieve, we don't have alpha or beta versions anymore, because these sprint releases you can use in production, but they're not supported that much, or just for until the next sprint release comes out. And that means we need to update. If I am a site owner, I need to update every 8 to 10 weeks to the next sprint release. However, in the process of version 8, we found out that it's quite difficult to bring forward the development while not having breaking changes or changes that make extension authors or site owners having a hard time update to the next sprint release.
Okay, that means that is what we experience, or probably you all out there experience, that we have a lot of breaking changes between the minor versions that we release. I mean, 8.0 was breaking, 8.1 was breaking, 8.2 was breaking until 8.7. So every release was kind of breaking. Yeah. So we had some troubles with that, to be honest. Is it planned to be getting better in the future, or what do you think of? So how can we make the experience of upgrading from a major version to another major version, or from minor versions in the major versions some kind of better, or what are the plans? Or
well, first of all, it's difficult to plan what you develop in the next version for the next 1.5 years, because it's open source, and there are a lot of contributors that start something and you think it's going to go in, but in the end we cannot include it anymore, or we have to include it later, and that kind of makes it breaking. Or we see, well, we want to have like the rich text editor replaced, and along the way on the development you find out there are things that will work differently and better and make sense, but it's breaking. So we have breaking changes currently, or we had that in the past, and we're trying just to minimize that. I wouldn't say we will achieve that with version 9, that we don't have any breaking changes in the sprint releases, but going in version 9, we want to just really keep that amount of breaking changes low by focusing on how can we improve Typo 3 more, and just ensure that the old stuff keeps working. And I think we can do a much better job than we do now. For version 9, we still identify a lot of things that we think should be the next steps, and that we should include in 9.0, because it's heavily breaking or it's changing a lot of things. And we'd rather have that in 9.0 than in 9.1, right? So people, if they choose to start a new project with 9.0, they don't have the hassle to update to version 9.1 with a lot of amount of time.
Okay, so that means what we experienced with 8.7 was we have these whole breaking changes spread across the whole development process, because while trying to improve, it was noticed that we need to change stuff, build new APIs, change APIs completely, and stuff like that. So, and we're now trying to focus on, okay, we're bringing that to the 9.0 release. So the upgrade rates between 9.1, 9.2, 9.3 will be rather an easy task.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the jump from 8.7 to 9 is probably not as heavily breaking as everybody thinks. Of course, we will provide upgrade paths and everything, but still, it's an upgrade path you have to take, and old things might not work. That's why it's breaking. But at the same time, I think we have a lot of cool new things and features we want to introduce in version 9 that are not breaking. And so we are going to improve with the minor releases, focusing on the things that are not breaking that we can add on top or exchange by just putting a different layer of API on it.
Okay, that means the 9.0 release will be more like, okay, cleaning up and providing the future paths and stabilizing APIs for further development. So I'm providing the Bootstrap package. So if we are going to make it 9.0 compatible, it would be really easy, and I can just consume new features while going forward to the LTS release. So
exactly, that's exactly how we plan to do it. Currently, actually, we noticed, well, we introduced again cool new things in version 8, but they're not finished yet. They're incomplete. We introduced Fluid Standalone, and we have a lot of speed improvements with that in version 8.0, but we left over some migrations with the LTS release with 8.7. Now we have to do that already, or still have to do these kinds of cleanup right now instead of focusing on the next version. So these parts still go back in version 8, but also we try to sort out what parts are the breaking ones that we need to include in 9.0, so extension authors have an easy life upgrading or making it compatible.
Make me a bit happy now.
However, that means that we have a little bit of, I wouldn't say delay, but we want to release 9.0 when we have these breaking changes in place. So instead of releasing 9.0 like in a week, we actually just want to go from a strategic point of view and pick the ones that we are going to tackle in version 9, the areas and parts, and actually concentrate on the non-breaking features in the further sprint releases. And that means that 9.0 won't be out in the next week or next month, but it's going to be like end of fall or something like that when we are going to release 9.0.
Okay, when we're now pushing the 9.0 release far in the future, what does that mean for my internal planning? We have a current straight release cycle. That means I exactly know when what versions will come. And our plannings in our company are mostly about the LTS versions, like many other companies are out there, because that's the version the client will probably stick to the next years. That also means that we will start new projects on the next version when the release cycle matches to the release of the Type 3 version, of the LTS version. So what does that mean for the LTS version? Does it also be delayed, or?
I wouldn't call it delayed, actually. If I'm right, I think it took 4 or 5 months from 7 LTS to 8.0 to be released. So it's kind of natural that all the removing of the previously deprecated stuff while inventing new features takes quite some time. But in the end, we released 8 LTS at the exact same time we promised 1 year before. So that means We have the 1.5-year release cycle for the LTS versions. And instead of being 9.7 as the final LTS release, which we're going to release in fall 2018, it's going to be 9.5 or something. People shouldn't care about, how many sprint releases are in between.
Okay, that just means, okay, we have some fewer sprint releases, but with the release cycle stays. That means the currently announced 9 LTS date is the LTS date I can put my planning on.
Exactly.
And plan around my projects at that.
Yeah.
Sounds cool. And Benny, anything to add?
I mean, of course, we can talk a lot about features and what we want to achieve in version 9, but that's, I think, really too much. And
that's some topic for the future, I guess.
Yeah, so we'll do...
So we will see you soon again?
Hopefully, yeah.
Okay, fine. Awesome. Thanks, guys, for watching. This was Benji Kott, together with Benni Mack, technical lead of Tapestry core development for the Tapestry YouTube channel. Please leave some comments below if you have any questions. We will come back to you later. And don't forget to subscribe. Bye.